Hey everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. I am looking out my front window at an absolutely perfect spring day here in the South. We've been just having some really nice weather lately. It's going to be about 72, 73 degrees today. Clear blue skies and very low humidity. So I'm just enjoying this springtime, kind of hoping it will linger on because the summers here in South Alabama are a whole nother story. They get ugly. Anyhow, today I want to talk about the low-fat, raw vegan lifestyle and cooked food. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go down and hit that red subscribe button now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. I get asked lots of questions here and on Instagram about all things cooked food, this, that, and the other. And every once in a while it's funny, when you do this kind of stuff all day, every day, you know, you never know where people are stepping into your story. And I still have sometimes when I'll mention something cooked, they're aghast. Oh my God, you ate cooked food? And I'm like, yeah, listen, I have never in my life said I am a fully raw vegan or that I've ever even been striving to be a fully raw vegan. I'm very high raw vegan. I've been very high raw vegan since I started this lifestyle. I'd probably say I started this lifestyle up in the 90s, but that's neither here nor there. And once again, you know, it's like this. Sometimes I'll talk about this type stuff and somebody disagrees, and hey, that's great. That's great. You know, I'm never here to debate diet or what we're eating or what we're putting into our body, lifestyle, diet, whatever you want to call it. I just like to give options. I just like to talk of a wide range of things, because the one thing I want to keep going back to, and I think a lot of raw educators and people that try to inspire other people about this raw food diet just don't get into their head, is the reality of things. That most people are not going to be fully raw vegans. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. I'm always talking about numbers. Do the numbers in your head. How many people do you know how many people do you even know? And you're rather fortunate if you do. Do you even have a vegan community? Do you even have vegans in your life? Do you know any vegans? You know, that's tough enough right there. There's just not that many vegans out there. And there's even a minuscule percentage of that are raw vegans. So what I'm saying is like, I want to be realistic. I don't want to be just like, yep, no. If you're not doing fully raw, let's just forget everything else. Let's don't even talk about it. I like to give options. And you know, like I say a lot of the time, I don't think it's all about the raw. I think it's about eating clean. And somebody will always try, well, what is your definition of eating clean? Well, most people know clean eating. For me, just in my opinion, from my standpoint, clean eating is eating plant-based and simply eating SOS. Processed sugar-free, oil-free, and salt-free. Do I do all that stuff 100% of the time? No. I use pink Himalayan salt from time to time. A lot less than that. I'll still use a little bit of oil. There'll be 2 or 3 times a year where I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna put a little oil in this or whatever. But in general, that's what I'm talking. That's what I want to see more people talking about, focusing on, is a plant-based diet that is full of whole foods. And then, you know, everybody can figure out what works for them, where they are, their situations, and everything else. Now, don't get me wrong. I will tell you. I've done these videos, like I said yesterday when I was doing that what I ate today video. I've done these videos from different places and different circumstances. When I first started this channel, I was living in a house on the beach in Costa Rica. Hot there all the time. No. Well, for the channel, yes, I went raw vegan in the city, San Jose. But by the time I'd gotten to the beach, and I'd been, you know, I moved to the beach about 8 or 9 months after I went raw vegan. So I started the channel living in Jaco, Costa Rica at the beach, hot there all the time. Now, pretty much the whole time I lived in Jaco, I could count, and that was about 3 years, if I remember correctly. I could count the times that I ate cooked food probably on one hand. In fact, all I had in that little house of mine was just a little electric 2-eye heating coil. I won't even call, I don't know what you call it, a stove, a countertop heater, but yeah, very, very rarely did I eat it there. And there was reasons. Number one, I'm in Costa Rica. I could get food anytime I wanted to. From my house, I hop on my bicycle right now. I can find bananas. I can find ripe pineapples. I can find ripe papayas. I can usually find ripe mangoes. I can get smoothies made for me at a reasonable price. So the abundance was everywhere. I was getting greens at good prices, lettuce, you know, 3 or 4 different types of lettuce at my farmer's market. Plus, it's hot. Did I mention it's hot there all the time? And I tried to use my air conditioner a minimum to keep the bills down. So simply by the availability of the heat, I was fully raw when I was there. Now, when I went up into the mountains, when I lived in the mountains in Costa Rica that last year, I went through long periods I was fully raw there. We did have cooler nights, and sometimes I just enjoyed it. So I would make a stew in the evenings. And where else? Okay, and now I've been back in the States for almost a couple of years. Yes, I eat more cooked food here, but it's just random. You know, I can go back and forth. I was eating more over the winter, and probably a couple of weeks ago, it just kind of started dropping away again. I did have some sweet potatoes on Monday. I had a mono meal of sweet potatoes on Monday just because I need to get some calories. I didn't really have any salad to make, blah, blah, blah. But that's usually where I default to first. And there's a lot of different options. Just like I say, you know, don't make such a big deal out of, oh, I'm eating a bite of cooked food. Just always try to be making the best choices you can every time you put a bite of something in your mouth. And also, too, some people fall into this kind of thing. Definitely don't do this. I saw this the other day. Somebody was talking about, well, when they give themselves permission, or when they decide, okay, well, I'm going to eat cooked food, they break all the rules. In other words, okay, well, I'm going to eat cooked food. That's bad. So I'm going to put stuff on it, and they'll put oil on it. They'll put salt, whatever. No, just keep it clean. I mean, you know, my go-to mostly when I do eat cooked food is sweet potatoes. I've mentioned this in a number of videos because, and this is just my personal experience by eating them. The sweet potatoes are give me the closest feel, body-wise, energy-wise, digestion-wise, everything else. The sweet potatoes give me the closest feel to staying fully raw. I'm trying to think of all the things I eat cooked, because when I talk about eating cooked, there's 2 different things. When I eat here at the house, or when I go to Pensacola and perhaps eat in a restaurant. I go a little bit more off the rails when I eat in a restaurant sometime, although now there's a raw restaurant in Pensacola, so I tend to go there. But the things I cook at the house are uber clean, uber clean. I have sweet potatoes, even from time to time, and this is one that I kind of go back and forth on about adding into my diet, are legumes, beans. I don't eat beans a whole lot. I've had a few times over the winter. I enjoyed them. I had some lima beans. I had some purple hull peas. And I think there's value. I'm always looking into reading more about the beans and the legumes. And I know the hardcore, and like I say, I do my research, and I filter out all the other conversations because I know the conversations. You'll have some people saying you need the beans, you have to eat beans, you must eat beans, 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 beans. They're proponents hardcore of eating the cooked beans. Then there's the hardcore raw foodists that'll say, well, yeah, you need them, but you can sprout. You can sprout lentils, you can sprout this, you can sprout that. But then I'm like, okay, yes, you can. That's theoretical, but if you think you need to be getting beans and you're only eating sprouted ones, unless you're very diligent and you're constantly keeping them, are you really going to eat a regular amount of those? But anyhow, I don't know. I go back and forth. I'm still learning this thing. I'm only in 7 years. There's so much to reprogram our brains about. There's so much to relearn that I don't know. But as for right now, I don't really do a whole lot of legumes. I do mostly sweet potatoes. And then usually anything else is stuff that's very easily digestible. From time to time, I love steamed collards. Or not steamed collards, I just boil a big pot of collards. And I don't put much in any of this cooked food. It doesn't, like the things that I tend to eat don't need a lot. Like my collards, I use a clear hot pepper sauce that's using apple cider vinegar as a base. What else? What else? What else? Oh, something else. The summer's coming up. That's something I wanted to talk about as well. Like I say, you may not be there yet. If you're, summer is a time when there's a lot of fresh vegetables. We used to be semi-vegetarian here in the South, or in our family anyway, during the summer, just because of the availability. It goes back to availability. There's always, peas, butter beans, corn, squash. What else are some of the summer vegetables? And we would just have, days where we had plates that were just a bunch of vegetables on them. So, the squash is very unobtrusive to the body. You can, of all the type cooked food, it might even be less than the sweet potatoes, because it's just basically, squash is almost basically water once it's cooked. But like I say, don't focus, don't be so caught up in the fully raw thing. Or even if you are, it might take you a little while to get there, but always try to make the best choices. Don't crucify yourself if you're eating a bit of cooked food. Make decent choices. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Always just have your own reasons. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. Don't listen to anybody over there that's arguing with me. Look at everything, figure out how things work in your life, and act accordingly. But this whole idea, and that's just I don't know, that I think that just scares people away of even wanting to dabble with raw, learn anything about raw in the first place. It's when or the hardcore militants that's like fully raw all the time. Oh, cooked food is poison, cooked food is this, cooked food is that. Now, if you believe this, more power to you. But if you're hardcore like that, I'm not quite sure why you're watching me. But anyhow, just kind of my thoughts. Somebody had asked me a particular question a couple of days ago on my thoughts on this lifestyle with some cooked food. So that's basically it. Kind of rambled, but hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.